Thank you very much. Yes, you in front, and then next, Bibi.
Okay, thank you. I'm Caesar from Tanzania, but working for Irish Aid, not the government. I wanted to really underscore the point that there was an emphasis of joint activity, joint programs, joining together. My experience working with the donor community in Tanzania, and also looking at the agriculture program in Tanzania, which is a 5-ministry program, I find the word joint should be dropped. We should prepare comprehensive programs, but should not work jointly. Seriously. There are 5 ministries, and all the time we talk together for many years, but we don't operate jointly. Despite that, we claim we have a national program which we are jointly implementing. But I feel we should define the roles which each one can play in that program and operate separately, because it has never been possible for all these ministries to agree to work together. Similarly, in this agenda of nutrition, we should define what we want to do in nutrition, but each partner play a role differently. If we continue saying we must be joint, it will be semantics, no practical action, which will be joint. Even in households, you know, there are role definitions. We don't work jointly. We work as individuals contributing to the same goal.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I know it's a little unorthodox to pose a question to the chair, but I will allow myself if the chair allows me to do so. And then my next question is going to be to the rest of the panel. Madam Commissioner, at the level of the AU, I mean, I know, and I'm posing this question deliberately so that the House can understand. At the level of the AU, nutrition is being addressed under 2 separate commissions or departments. And ideally, yes, it should be addressed across several departments. What is the AU, what steps is the AU taking to ensure proper harmonization of that which is coming out of the Department of Rural Economy and Agriculture and the Department of Social Affairs, which traditionally has been the one that was housing, or that is housing, nutrition? Because in terms of going forward, as we implement CADAP and the compacts and the investment plans out of that, we need to bring into the fold the Social Affairs Division or Department on board. Now, going to the panelists. Over the years, we have seen a dearth of nutrition surveillance systems. They practically don't exist in many of our countries. If we now are saying we are going to be engaging robustly agriculture for health and nutrition, do we really know what is happening in our countries, in our regions, that will enable us to plan better, to target and to deliver, so that as we harness all the resources that we can harness, both from within our own coffers and from our partners, how are we going to be moving forward in that direction, particularly in the context of scaling up nutrition?
Thank you. We should be closing. Okay, the 2, since there were many comments, let's have 2 quick ones, please.
I have a quick question. When I was coming here, I was trying to get in my country how much money went into nutrition activities annually. And I wasn't able to get the figure. Maybe not to get a figure, but some sort of percentage. Can those sitting on the panel or countries here please tell me how much their governments put into the nutrition programs in their countries? Thank you.
Thank you. The last one, please.
Thank you. This is kind of a question and kind of a comment. And
your name, please.
Sorry, my name is Richard Mythen from the Institute of Food Research in the UK. First of all, to thank the panel for their very insightful presentations. I'd particularly like to thank Ismail for reminding us that many countries of the world and many countries in Africa are facing the double burden of undernutrition amongst particularly the rural poor and the rapid increase of chronic disease, type 2 diabetes, within an increasing urban population associated with economic growth. Now, this is particularly prevalent in some countries of Africa, but I would suggest that many countries in Africa with the economic growth that we are seeing are rapidly going to catch up countries like India, which now have an extremely high incidence of type 2 diabetes, with particularly important health consequences on a younger working population, and we're getting early age-related onset diabetes amongst the 30-year-olds. The question I ask the panel is, everything we've been talking about this meeting has largely focused on the first one, the malnutrition rural poor. What we need to put in place, can that also address that secondary dietary burden, or are there different things we need to put in place now to prevent this increase that I think if we don't do anything about, we're going to experience over much of Africa certainly by 2020. Thank you.
Thank you. As we conclude, I would like to request the panelists to, maybe each one of you to have 1 or 2 minutes. As you see, the timing is bad. Please, can I start with now extreme end with Mila?
Thank you. I will be brief. I just want to comment on Kaba's comment about listening to beneficiaries. I would also say that in the context of particularly advocacy, it would be good if we also really listen to policymakers and really listen to where they are coming from before we advocate for our issue. Linking to what is important to them is often the key to good advocacy. And then I totally agree with our last speaker. As you can imagine, in South Africa, that is the problem, is how do we actually frame the nutrition challenge in terms of both stunting in our country, micronutrient malnutrition, and dealing with chronic diseases. And I think it's essential. I think we need to talk about healthy nutrition, and we need to reframe our education programs and our research programs to understand that they're all linked to the food system that we are working with. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ismail.
Thank you very much. I just would like to come to the comments from Dr. Jaina, which is very important, related to listening to the beneficiaries. I remember in 2009, when we brought the network of smallholders and food producers of West Africa in Ouagadougou, that was to listen to them to see how they feel regarding the optimizing the utilization of the biodiversity potential for increasing productivity and so on and so forth. But after July 2009, last year in November, we met then together with the ECOWAS Commissioner of Agriculture. We had two issues. One, researchers presented the benefit effects of okra to reduce cholesterol. And the president of the Association of Food Producers of Niger told him that you scientists, you are not serious, because we would like to know exactly what we are producing. But it looks like you have the power because you have the knowledge, but you don't share it with us. And if you look at the action plan we have developed, it includes capacity building for themselves. They felt that they need to be strengthened in terms of capacity. They need to use their comparative advantage in terms of advocacy and lobbying. And also, they said that we will need to mobilize enough resources to give to researchers so that we will know more about what they are producing, to give added value of the local foods and probably contribute to the alleviation of rural poverty. I think that's a good point. The question regarding the effect of globalization. In 2007, FAO published a document called the effect of globalization on food systems. What we can say, just in terms of dietary patterns, globalization regarding the modification of the market and the economy, modify feeding practices, and can create diet simplification. And this diet simplification means consumption of more carbohydrates. And these are risk factors for obesity and as well as undernutrition, especially if we would like to improve maternal and child nutrition through the life cycle approach and using the windows of opportunity. I don't think that I have any more questions.
Thank you very much. Joyce, do you have something to add?
Just a bit. I think I'd like to add more in this question of listening, but I think we need also to understand the beneficiaries, their situation, their concerns, so that we can really move together with them and give them space and opportunity to actually participate. I think that's why I advocated for demand-driven, participatory action research, so that they are in that process to find solution. So empowerment of community in all aspects in terms of information, knowledge. And if you ask me, I think it's information to power, information 10 to power 6. Information out there. And to answer Anna Lati's question, I think all of us here, we know that nutrition is really accorded low profile, and budgetary allocation is almost insignificant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, thank you. Also, to answer Anna, how much money does the government put into nutrition? In Nigeria, I will literally say zero. Zero in the sense that there is money, there is an amount on paper in the budget, but nothing is released for 12 months, January to December. On diet-related diseases, the current nutrition policy that we operate in Nigeria is being reviewed to also include the management of diet-related diseases. So we are taking some action on this line. Now, also, nutrition surveillance, the same thing. We have a unit on nutrition surveillance, but they do not have funds to operate. Let me also quickly add that the president of Nigeria has agreed to chair a National Nutrition Council, and he has brought in ministers of health, agri, and so on, and he will remain the chairman of that council. So we can begin now to discuss nutrition with the president of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, Rosanna.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to also address the issue raised by Anna, and to say that in Ghana, where you were trying to find out this information, you have to understand the budgetary system as it stands. Previously, some years back, nutrition headquarters would sit down and budget for the whole country. Nutrition. If you come there, you get a figure. Now, the budgetary system has changed, and nutrition headquarters budgets for headquarters, depending on what you have requested for. You don't get all, but you get a certain percentage. The actual nutrition work and the nutrition budgeting is done at the district level. And that is where you have to make sure that national programs and district-specific programs are budgeted for. The person sitting at national level will never be able to tell you where the nutrition budget in each individual district, and therefore aggregate them to give the nutrition budget in the whole country. This is how the budgeting system goes. But at least at all the levels, there is a budget line for nutrition. Some of the budget lines are also hidden in some other programs, because nutrition program is not a standalone thing. It permeates into other programs, and therefore, if you plan with other programs, for example, breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, you won't find it in nutrition department budget. You may find it in the child health budget. Right. So it's very difficult, to answer that issue. Now, coming to the issue of the double burden, the Ministry of Health in Ghana has, for the past several years, come up with a policy called Creating Wealth Through Health. And a lot of the activities involved is on healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. And I think this is what will prevent some of the diet-related diseases or non-communicable diseases that we have in our country. It will address them before it starts becoming a problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You will agree with me that we have done a fairly good justice to the topic, but the challenge, as you can see, the challenge is still big. And the areas which are coming out to advocacy, quality information, and also the target group, the players are looking at what is it that I should do better now? How should I change the way I've been doing business? All this is coming out. We are implementing or taking forward the Food and Nutrition Day. We shall be having advocacy, a whole week of advocacy, and we call upon you to be with us and to work with us. And this should be at the country level. It's not at the African Union level. So advocacy should be able now to get the things moving, as I have seen that is coming out. But then we need information, but we need the tools for advocacy. I don't believe it's the resources, but I think it's really the understanding of the importance of nutrition. So I would like to call upon you to join me in thanking the panelists for the work they have done. Thank you.